Taliban did bring law and order, and that is a very highly valued commodity in Afghanistan.
For 5 years after the American invasion, the Taliban quietly waited for new orders from Mullah Muhammad Omar. Just before he vanished into hiding, Omar promised to wage an insurgent campaign against the U.S. In 2006, the Taliban make good on his promise.
We thought the Taliban are finished. But now, after 5 years, we are in big trouble.
This is Taliban territory, a dusty tribal belt that straddles Afghanistan and Pakistan. The presidents in Kabul and Islamabad are loath to send their security forces into this dangerous region, so the Taliban operate here as a kind of shadow government. From this base, the Taliban mount an increasingly successful effort to retake control of Afghanistan. Supporters like Maulana Noor Mohammed are eager to gloat about the Taliban's recent gains.
The
Taliban are ruling Afghanistan, and they are not hiding.
By 2006, the Taliban are strong enough to seize several southern Afghan provinces. The Afghan government has to call in American air power just to regain control. But the resurgent Taliban movement only continues to grow. Many Afghans feel that Karzai's government has failed them. Foreign troops haven't visibly improved conditions either, they say. Here in Kabul, the very presence of the U.S. and its allies seems to become more unpopular every day.
I don't think you will find Afghans to vote for American being here, even 6%.
A terrible traffic accident exposes the depth of Afghan anti-Americanism. Huge riots break out when an out-of-control U.S. military vehicle crashes in Kabul. 8 people are dead and over 100 injured in the mayhem. Many of the rioters belong to the same ethnic groups that made up the late Ahmed Shah Massoud's Northern Alliance. These are the same people who supported U.S. troops after 9/11. Now they chant death to America.
The people, they were thinking the American, they came of peace. But right now, the mostly people, they are thinking the American and other foreigners, they are invaders to Afghanistan.
We've stopped being any kind of liberators, and now we're just another foreign occupier. And if any place on earth proves the old saying, familiarity breeds contempt, Afghanistan is it. And it doesn't only breed contempt, it breeds armed resistance.
It's increasingly dangerous here for coalition patrols. The Taliban borrow many of the same insurgent tactics employed to devastating success in Iraq.
Improvised explosive devices, rocket attacks, and suicide bombings, burning of schools, attacking of police stations. They are utilizing principally terrorist tactics.
As 2006 comes to a close, the new Taliban will prove to be a deadlier, more brutal organization than the one that U.S. forces threw out of power only 5 years before. Five years after an American-led coalition liberated this war-torn country, the news from Afghanistan just keeps getting worse. A violent new insurgency kills more than 2,500 in 2006. Left for dead in 2001, the Islamic extremists of the Taliban are back. And with a bloody vengeance, one of the new Taliban's powerful supporters is Hamid Gul, former head of Pakistan's intelligence service. Gul was America's ally during the Cold War, but in the war on terror, he's on the Taliban side.
The West is still making a mistake that they think they can destroy Taliban. How can they destroy Taliban? You have to destroy the entire nation.
The Taliban may still be the most organized force in Afghanistan. The movement has deep roots in the south and in parts of Pakistan. Taliban leaders court thousands of new recruits with online videos showcasing successful operations against coalition troops. This recruitment videotape features the new Taliban spokesman, a one-legged guerrilla commander with a reputation for extreme brutality, Mullah Dadullah Akhund. In the wake of a battle with coalition forces, Mullah Dadullah is shown beheading 2 British soldiers, 2 Afghan women, and 27 members of the Afghan National Security Force. Dadullah, tracked for years by the CIA, was the second most wanted Taliban leader behind only Mullah Omar until recently. On May 12, 2007, he was killed in Afghanistan by NATO ISAF forces.
Dadullah is one of the 10 Taliban commanders who were named by Mullah Omar on the Leadership Council. These were the 10 people who were supposed to organize Taliban fighters.
In this same Taliban recruitment video, Mullah Dadullah hands future martyrs small pieces of paper, tickets to paradise. Among the 12,000 fighters Dadullah claims to command, 500 are would-be suicide bombers. Over decades of war, Afghans have been extremely reluctant to resort to suicide tactics.
Well, you see, in the Afghan culture, committing suicide is the biggest sin which the God will never forgive, and you go straight to hell.
This Islamic leader supports the Taliban and sanctions the use of suicide attacks.
It is the faith that makes a person kill himself. Who can defend themselves against suicide attacks? Even the B-52 bombers and other American weapons can't defend against them.
The Taliban may be learning the power of terror from their old friend, Osama bin Laden. Some experts believe bin Laden is hiding in the tribal region between Afghanistan and Pakistan. Here, intelligence agents suspect that Al-Qaida supports the Taliban with weapons and tactical training. The Taliban's new terror campaign turns Afghanistan into one of the world's most dangerous war zones. Forces from 37 nations haven't been able to stabilize the country, and Afghans soon might have to handle security for themselves.
There is no way that we could defeat every terrorist who walks on the face of the earth. The coalition goals are to rebuild Afghanistan, both its economy and its military, to the point that it can be self-sustaining. My unit's role is to teach, coach, and mentor the Afghan National Army.
You remember how it was when the Taliban was here. Now that they're gone, it's time to bring Afghanistan together as one country.
And this is National Army. They cannot fight even for 1 hour against Taliban.
The doomed effort to build new schools is one example illustrating the security problem. Time and time again, insurgents attack newly constructed schools, their teachers, and even students. The Taliban aim to discourage girls from going to school and any Afghan child from getting a secularized education. According to the Afghan government, there are more than 170 school attacks in 2006 alone. The Taliban promise more violence. They often post death threats in public places while Afghan parents sleep. These chilling notes are commonly known as night letters.
Threatening letters that are left on roads where teachers will find them on their way to school, letters posted on school buildings or on the mosque. And they say things like, don't teach girls, don't send your girls to school. If you do, what happens to them will be your responsibility.
The Taliban only support a religious education, like the one provided in these madrasas along the chaotic Afghanistan-Pakistan border. Students from both countries attend this particular school.
This is a high school. There are many children who come to get education.
Will this boy wind up fighting for the Taliban? Many like him may have already joined the movement, experts say.
The madrasas are still there, like factories producing Taliban. So every year, thousands of Taliban are being added to the ones already there.
Extremists are being created